Hey interweb. I was attempting to do a screen record so that I could do a react video for one of those try not to laugh challenges. But then I decided I have something to say. I tried to kill myself yesterday morning. Tried twice, wussed out. Because I'm having a lot of money problems right now, and I don't know how to fix them. Every time I try to get a job, I am basically told that although everybody working in that particular location recognizes that I'm competent, I'm hardworking, I would be a great addition to the team, for some reason, corporate won't let them hire me. That reason is my background check. In 2015, my mother's boyfriend decided he was going to touch me inappropriately. I stayed out of his way for a good long while, but finally I was hungry, I was tired, I was stressed out, and I decided to come out and eat dinner with the family. And he cornered me in the kitchen in such a way that I lashed out at him, because not only was he literally pinning me against the oven, but he was just asked by my mother to go get some pain pills for my little brother's headache. And so he's letting my little brother suffer so he can show me a picture on his phone that has nothing to do with anything and is just an excuse for him to be in close physical proximity to me, probably in order to punish me for the fact that when he offered me his pickle and I said no, he still decided to grab my ass. Here's what happened. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. Now, I'm trying to make sure my mom's boyfriend feels welcome into the family. She met him at church. He treats her well. He's got a job. Let's welcome him in. And so I'm treating him like I would treat my own father, which means I'm physically affectionate with him in a familial sense. Like, I'll give him a hug and a kiss on the cheek when he goes to work. I'm going to treat you like my dad. Well, one day he turns his head and I accidentally kiss him on the mouth. And I didn't think anything of it at the time. Well, 2 weeks pass and I'm making myself a snack with kosher, organic dill pickles and corn tortillas. And he says, you know, this is 3 o'clock in the morning. The entire house is asleep except for him and me. I've been working all night. He's just going to work. He goes, you know, I got a pickle for you. Although it's pretty spicy, I don't think you can handle it. My mother's boyfriend. And so thinking that he's just being a dirty old man making a stupid joke, I'm like, I've got my jar of pickles here, you know, thanks anyway. He's like, are you sure? Yeah, I'm sure. I already got my jar of pickles out. I paid what little money I had in order to make sure they were organic because that's the diet I'm on right now. I had just gotten back from New York. Everybody ate organic. And he goes, well, just in case you change your mind. And he literally opens the fridge, reaches into the produce drawer, pulls out one of those pickles that you get at the gas station, the spicy kind, and sets it on the counter. I have repeatedly told this man no. I'm not interested. And he's using the pickle as a sexual innuendo. And I told him, look, I'm not into it. And he's like, oh, okay, well, I gotta go. And he reaches out for his hug. So, out of habit, I go to hug him. He slides his hands down my back and cups both of my ass cheeks in his hand. He's a good foot taller than me. And he's a pretty intimidating looking guy. He's got a scar on his face from his ex-girlfriend, and now I think I know why. And so all I can think to do is tap him on the chest and go, that's my butt. And he pulls away and goes, oh, sorry. Not like, wait, did I just grab my girlfriend's daughter's ass? Oh my god, what the fuck is wrong with me? I'm so sorry. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. No, it was, oh, sorry. Like he had accidentally bumped into me on the street or some shit like that. That tone of voice. I'm shaken up. And I knock on my little brother's door. He was in and out, but he was awake, and I say, I don't know what to do. Mom's boyfriend just grabbed my ass. Are you sure? Okay, I'm just saying. That's not all. 2 weeks ago, he kissed me on the mouth. Okay, like, if this was like a one-time thing, I would say don't say anything to Mom, but he's done it multiple times. This is a thing. You should say something to Mom. Well, I didn't. Because my mother has bipolar disorder / borderline personality disorder / personally, I think she's on the narcissist personality spectrum. And so I don't tell her. At one point during the week, he ends up apologizing to me, the boyfriend. So I think, okay, I just don't want to think about it. I want to get over it. I can't leave because I can't afford to move. So I'm stuck here, so I just have to get along, right? And a couple weeks later, the kitchen incident happens. And my mother says, "You need to apologize to him right now. You're being rude." I said, "He knows why I'm being rude." And he's like, "Oh yeah, then give me my camera back." He had let me borrow his camera so that I could work online. And I went to give it back to him. And then I remembered I had done a video where I was in the bathtub and I didn't want him to have footage of me naked. So I went to delete it. And he starts pitching a fit about it. And I said, "I'm more than happy to give you your camera back. You're not buying my silence. I'm going to tell Mom exactly why I'm pissed off." I said, "Ma, he grabbed my ass." "No, he didn't. You're just lying because you don't want me to be happy." And to my surprise, he admitted that it happened. Right? He's like, "No, she's right. It did happen, and I feel bad, and I apologized to her." And Mom's like, "You're lying. You're lying. You're both lying. You just want me to be miserable." And so we proceed to get in this 2-hour-long fight where my mom blames me for being raped earlier that summer, which, funnily enough, I was staying in a tent in our backyard because my mother was hospitalized for her mental health, which happens quite often. And I was worried her boyfriend was going to try something with me. I ended up getting drugged at a bar and raped in the tent in my backyard. But that's another story. So she's basically telling me it's my fault that I get raped. If a guy grabs my ass, it's not his fault, it's my fault. Basically trying to make me out to be the worst possible person ever. My little brother comes in to defend me. My little brother's 10 years younger than me. This was 5 years ago, so I would have been 27 and he would have been 17. And so my mom's boyfriend starts trying to pit him and I against each other. And it works for a hot second, and then I realize what's going on. I recenter the conversation on what it needs to be on, because we're all having it out at this point. I was like, no, me and my little brother, that has nothing to do with this conversation. Why even bring it up? Why are you pitting us against each other? My little brother's like, yeah, why are you doing that? That's weird. What's going on? Like, what's really going on here? And so after this 2-hour-long argument, I decide I'm going to go stay with my grandmother, with my father's mother. And because they were ganging up on my little brother as well, I decided I'm going to bring him with me, because if I left him there, I didn't want them to dogpile on him while he was there by himself with no one to defend him. I didn't want them to punish him for defending me either. So, Mom ends up calling her mom, my grandmother. Hysterical. And my grandmother, having dealt with my mother for 40-some years at this point, is like, look, if things get too out of hand, just call the fucking cops, because this is not my... Well, at some point, my mom decided she was going to grab me by the wrists and not let me go while I'm trying to leave the house. Technically, this is kidnapping. We're in the kitchen. I am trying to get her off of me. She will not let go. 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 I drag her from the kitchen into the living room with her holding onto my wrists. And this is a good 20, 30 feet. Easy 20, 30 feet. And I have a condition known as fibromyalgia. When I am stressed out, wearing clothes feels like sandpaper on a sunburn. So imagine somebody going like this. I still had the presence of mind to say, let me go or I'm going to defend myself. Because my father's a martial artist and he said you always warn somebody before you defend yourself. Let go of me or I'm going to defend myself. This is your last warning. Let go of me or I'm going to defend myself. She did not let go. My little brother didn't help me. My mom's boyfriend didn't get her off of me. So I bit her as hard as I could. She barely flinched. She loosened her grip enough for me to get my right hand free. I say, let my other arm go, because I'm still in immense pain. Let me go or I'm going to defend myself. Let me go or I'm going to defend myself. Let me go or I'm going to defend myself. And so I was always told, if you go for the eyes, people will flinch. So I go to throw a punch at her face. Again, I'm in a lot of pain. She needs to get off me. She's kidnapping me. She's assaulting me. I am defending myself. The boyfriend calls the cops. Cops show up, separate us. They're in the living room. I'm in the kitchen. because it's a big distance. They take statements from everybody, and then they decide to go outside and deliberate. At one point, my mom had asked if she could throw oh yeah, and now she's reacting. Like, before it was like nothing, which is weird because the week before I was in the car with her, and I could tell she was off. And I told her I didn't want to be in the car with her because I thought we were going to get into an accident. My little brother tells me shortly after I left, she hit a telephone pole and told Salem not to tell me. Anyway, long story short, too late. My mom makes it a point, because the garbage can is in the kitchen, to come up to me and go, "You're going to jail, you're going to jail." My mom's boyfriend goes to use the bathroom, has to walk past the kitchen in order to use it. "You're going to jail, you're going to jail." So the police tell me that because she had more marks on her than I did on me, and they technically have to take someone in every time there is a domestic dispute, they were going to be taking me in. I cooperated. All I asked was that they didn't leave my little brother. They agreed that it was not safe for him to stay there that night, and they took him to his father's house. To this day, my mother has it in her head that I volunteered to go. My mother consequently made it a point to come to the jail the next day to try and mock me some more. They were like, "Hey, a white lady and a black dude are here to see you." That was my mom and her boyfriend. And I said, "I have a no contact order with them. If I see them, I will be violating the no contact order. I'm not going to talk to them. I don't want to see them. They attacked me. That's why I'm in here, because I defended myself from them attacking me. He sexually assaulted me. She physically assaulted me." I denied bail at least 6 times, which sets a record for Black Hawk County, which is where I live, of most times bail denied during the pre-trial phase of jail. My mother, realizing that there is a no contact order in place, goes to some sort of hearing and tells the judge that we've been talking and I miss her and I feel bad and I just want to be with her again and all this. My social worker was in the courtroom for another hearing and tells the judge that I am her case and I am terrified of my mother and would rather stay in jail than risk running into her on the street. The no contact order stays in place. Me and my social worker decide to try to get the no contact order switched so that I'm the protected party and she's the abuser on paper. That way I also have a better chance of fighting this charge. The social worker tells the judge what happened in court, that my mother was lying in court. I tell the judge about the history of abuse, about how when there was a social worker who came when I was 17 to interview me, the only reason he didn't take my statement down was because his daughter had forgot a permission slip for the really expensive private school, to go on a ski trip, and so he had to, over the phone, give her permission to go. And because I felt like he not only was not taking me seriously, but wasn't taking his job seriously, he basically said he wasn't going to do his job at all. And he gave me some busy work saying, I want you to write down every single time your mother's abused you since you can remember. I said, I didn't have any sense of time when I was that young. It was a daily occurrence. I can't write down every single day for the last, oh God, when did she start? When she started dating Dave Beasley. So that would have been when I was 8. So yeah, I said, I can't write down every single instance of abuse for the last 9 years. That's not possible. I don't have, well, I guess I must have been closer to 7. I was 7 or 8. Anyway, so like, yeah, 9-10 years of daily abuse, and he wanted me to date every single instance, or else he wasn't going to take me seriously. My mother, my stepdad, my little brother's dad, and my little brother all lied to the cop. And he looked me dead in the eye and said, if you were my kid, I would beat you too. So my mother has had a history of lying to law enforcement to make herself look better when she gets caught abusing me. I tell this to the judge as well. The judge deliberates with herself and says, as far as everybody in this court is concerned, yes, you are the protected party. However, because it's the same outcome either way, and I don't want to do the paperwork, I'm not going to award you the protective order. So, because I pled no contest, because it did happen, there was an assault that occurred. I didn't claim guilt. I claimed that it happened, and I wasn't going to contest it. However, I thought that meant I could go back and get it off my record. I can't. And because I can't, the only places around here that will hire me have either exploited my labor outright, literally taken hours off of my check, or I have a 46-minute long recording on my computer right now of my boss admitting that by federal law, he should fire my coworker for sexual assault and harassment. But because I was caught on tape defending myself from him and he was not caught on tape assaulting me, how about I just keep working and don't say anything and I won't get turned over to the cops? I applied for Panera, was told in my interview that I was hired, never heard back. I applied for Target. I was told I had the job. These were the hours I was getting. I could start on Monday. They just needed to run one last check. I was completely honest about my background when I filled out my application. I told them exactly what all the charges were. I asked them if it would be a problem. They said no. The corporate headquarters sends me a letter with my background check. It says I have a felony. I don't. I have a misdemeanor. I get that fixed. I think, okay, I begged my mom to get the protective order dropped because I thought that was keeping me from being employed. She did. That didn't help. Oh, it must be because it's written down as a felony instead of a misdemeanor on my background check. Talked to the public defender, got the paperwork sent over to the background company, got all of that straightened out. I'm still unemployable. I got hired for an $80,000 a year sales director job. They already let me into the computer at the end of my interview in order to start orienting me for the job. They said I was the best candidate they had. They would love to work with me. 3 weeks I didn't hear back from them. When I finally contacted them, I was treated like I was some sort of criminal pariah. I was treated like I went from being the golden child to the scapegoat all over again. And I was treated with absolute disgust and disdain in that interaction. Like I was gonna do something to them. Even though they didn't have the decency to tell me that my background check came back and I wasn't qualified for the job anymore. I had stopped working in anticipation of this job. I had stopped working as a sex worker online. I was a cam girl. Well, a cam dom, I should say. I was dominant. And I was sick of it. And this was 3 years ago? 2-3 years ago? And now it's to the point where I can't make myself work. I can't make myself do this anymore. I'm about to lose my house. I can barely pay my bills. Half the time the only way I pay my bills is because I beg people for help. I called the suicide hotline and got hung up on for the 5th time in a year. My boyfriend told me to call because he was worried about me. I told him they were going to hang up on me. He told me I was just being paranoid, and then it happened, and now he's mad. I digress. What made her hang up on me is after I told her the story I just told you guys. I asked, she asked me if I had gone to the media about this. I had talked to an investigative journalist at one point, and he had told me in regards to the getting hours taken off my check, even though I had physical proof of it, even though I went to the U.S. Department of Labor and they didn't do anything. They couldn't do anything because even though it was obviously a labor law violation, I would have had to sue him in civil court in order for anything to happen, which I don't understand why that would have to be a thing. Because at that point, they had changed it, but at that point, it was illegal for class action lawsuits regarding labor violations. You had to do them one at a time, which made it impossible for people to sue their employers. Because instead of everyone pooling together for lawyers' fees, you basically had to go it on your own. I digress. I asked her, how many times am I going to get rejected and kicked before it's okay to just die? Right? How much more do I have to put up with before me taking my own life is seen as completely justified? I'm a pariah. I'm an untouchable. Nothing means anything. There's no hope. None. It doesn't matter how many Life is Good books I do. It doesn't matter how grateful I am for the little things. I feel like I'm clawing my way uphill, and everything just crumbles underneath me when I try to get a foothold. When I try to climb up out of this hole that I'm in financially, everything just crumbles and I'm worse off than I was. But on top of it, I'm tired and I'm hurt. When I worked at the physical plant at UNI, I pulled twice as much carpet as 3 fully capable men. Not because I'm better than them, but because I actually had the integrity to do the job I was being paid to do instead of sit around on my ass looking at my phone, trying to run out time for the day. We had page after page after page after page of things we needed to get done that summer so that the students could come back to a campus that was actually clean, so that we wouldn't have to work around classrooms during the fall and the spring. I got punished at my job that they took money off my paycheck from because I made it a point to go above and beyond, and the hiring manager was intimidated by the fact that I could do his job in my sleep, to the point where every system I had implemented in the restaurant was systematically undone by him and then reapplied as if it was his idea in the first place. I had all of those servers running on the system that I had created, and everyone was happy, and everything was hunky-dory, and everything was working the way it was supposed to. I'm a hard worker. I'm dedicated. I'm loyal. I have integrity. I'm honest. And it doesn't mean shit. No matter what I do, it doesn't mean shit. I'm not allowed to protect myself. If someone assaults me, I'm supposed to let them, or I will be punished for it. No! You know what that sound is? It's called keening. It is an ancient war cry of a woman who's had enough. I've had enough. I've had enough. I'm going to try out like I'm a fucking theater person. It never ends. I'm going to an open interview tomorrow for a company to hire people to work with people who have developmental disabilities. I have people with developmental disabilities in my family. They don't scare me the way they seem to scare most normal people. I think it's a job I'd be really good at. But I'm worried that my background won't let me do it. I would love to have a job where I help people. I just want to leave this world a better place than I found it. And it's really hard for me to do that. But now I at least feel like my story's been told. I don't have it inside of me, festering. And I don't know what to do. Apparently, the public defender is still assigned to my case, which she shouldn't be. I found that out when I tried to get my background check fixed. And she said, yeah, that's weird. You shouldn't be, yeah, that should be done and over with, but it wasn't. So I don't know if that was some sort of sign to me that I was supposed to keep fighting it, that I don't know. All I know is it's not that I wish I were dead. It's that I'm very tired I have a lot of medical problems. And I need help. I know I'm good at things. I know I follow through on things. Well, I follow through on things until it's made apparent that I'm not welcome. And then I leave. Because if I'm not welcome somewhere, why would I be there? I don't know where I belong. I don't have enough money to leave where I am. I'm worried that if I get like a waitressing job or a bartending job or anything that's too physical, that my body will just give out. I can't do that. I can't do that to a company because I'm one of the workers that people end up relying on. I don't want to work for a company and leave them high and dry, especially if it's like a mom and pop place. I have my own morality. I get it, but I would rather die than work for a place that distributes Coca-Cola or Pepsi products because of genocidal reasons. To the point where that was one of the main reasons I tried to kill myself the other day. Is that I don't see any hope. I wish I did. I wish that I could just go back in time and instead of ever going to that stupid BDSM chateau, just even work as a stripper all that summer and save back money. You know? Just, I could have done something. I could have done something other than that, but I thought this was some great opportunity. I was under the impression I'd never have to want for money ever again, because that's what they tell you. That's how most people get into sex work. We're desperate for money. This is easy, quick money. I mean, compared to other jobs that are more labor intensive. For the most part, women put on makeup naturally anyway. Like, it's part of their routine, so getting dressed up and putting on makeup isn't the worst thing in the world for most women. Being drooled over and admired is seen as, you know, cool. Then I became a feminist, and now doing sex work makes me want to tear my hair out. But I don't have any other choice. And I don't know what to... Like, you have no idea how bad I wish I were dead. Every day. Every day. Multiple times a day. That's all I can think about. I wish I were dead. 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 And then spirit or source or whatever, I hear it and it's like, well, that's not... Try again. What do you really want? What do you really want? What do you really want? I want somebody to see that I have value. I want them to compensate me fairly. And I want to make them look good because of it. I want to help heal people. I want to help protect people. I want health insurance. I want to be able to go and buy off the McDonald's dollar menu whenever I want. Okay, that last one, I know a bunch of you motherfuckers know that feeling. And the health insurance. But most of all, I want the world to be different. I want it to be better. I grew up watching Sailor Moon. I thought I was gonna grow up and save the world. And all I'm doing is showing my titties to random dudes on the internet. That's not what I belong doing. If that's what you belong doing, please show your tatas for the world. That's all you. But after 12 years of working in sex work, and I have nothing to show for it, obviously it wasn't for me. There are women who have made so much money, they own multiple properties, they've been flown to and from Dubai. You know, they're killing it. They have a system. It works for them. I still don't know where I belong. I still don't know what works for me. I'm good at writing. I'm good at acting. I'm good at making other people look really good. And so I don't know if this is like some really, really long video interview or if this is just some slice of life confession or what, but I know I'm not the only person who's gone through injustice like this. I know beyond a shadow of a doubt whoever wants me to roll over and die is just gonna have to keep waiting.